So we have a great lineup today, and we're going to start right out with Denise Raucci Ritz, and she is pasta mama, and she is one heck of a pasta mama. Look at what you brought. Tell us what you brought.
Well,
because I know, but I don't know all the viewers know.
Okay. Well, being Italian, I figured I'd celebrate Easter.
Absolutely.
You know, it was that hard decision whether to bring you pasta or Easter treats, and I said I had to go with Easter.
Yeah, you go with the Easter, yeah. We'll make the raviolis later.
Exactly. So I brought our traditional Easter bread.
Okay, and that's made with eggs, lots of eggs and stuff,
Yes,
right? Yeah.
lots of
And
kneading
you
by
toast
hand.
it, and you toast it.
And yes, you can, when you slice it, you can toast it. But sometimes we just like to put a little butter on
you
it.
betcha.
Or sometimes just eat it plain. It's all up to you
That
how much you want to indulge.
Is what does it. I love the Easter bread.
Yeah, I can't wait for you to try it.
It's almost like the Jewish bread, and
The challah.
the challah
Yes.
bread, but it's not quite.
Yeah.
But it's a substitute. If I have a craving for this, I'll get challah.
Yeah. Yes. So that recipe, my mom is a huge baker. She
My mother
baked.
was too. Yeah.
And, you know, we come from a family of cooking. My grandmother was the cook, so pretty much everybody in my family cooks, but my mom and a couple of my aunts, they became bakers as well. This recipe, every time I do it, I always have to check with my mother, because it's just one of those things that as many times as I make it, for as many years as I've been making it, even the other day, Mom, let's just go over it, just to refresh my
You don't
memory.
have it written down? See, my mother wrote it down for me.
I do,
because- yeah.
but still, it's just a thing.
Yeah.
It's like we go over recipes, we talk recipes, whether we see something new on TV or we're still talking about our old traditional.
Yeah.
I mean, I could do it off the top of my head too, but it's just one of those things that we just keep in communication. Oh, I tried this, or oh, try that,
Yeah.
and you know.
Add a little, one of those things.
Yeah, we, add our little spark. We've taken tradition in a different direction. We still have the same values, family, traditional food, but at least for me, I kick it up with a notch.
Yeah.
I always add like a different flavor, or I'll go outside the box and, I make all the arrangements with the ribbons and the candies and all the extra stuff.
Well, because in a way, you're a caterer. I mean, you will make these.
Yes.
It's funny that you say that, because when I was first trying to learn the recipes from my mom, because a lot of it was up here,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd say, well, Mom, how do you do it? Well, you just kind of knead it until it feels right.
Exactly. And I will still go over with my mom. Okay, now, Mom, when you do that, no, you just know. You just know.
Yeah, you just know. And they tell you that. They'll go, yeah, well, you just know that when you need it, then you know it's right.
Right. Me and my mom, that is probably 90% of what we talk about is food. Whether it comes to when I go to Florida, because she lives in Florida, and they always want me to make these cookies. So I'll move on to the Angenettes.
These are what we sometimes call the bride cookies, too.
Yes,
Because
or the wedding cookie.
The wedding cookie.
Some people call them rosettes. I swear, this cookie has so many names.
Right.
I call them strictly the Angenettes, because I do add a little bit of the anise flavor, and not too much, because people...
It can overpower.
Right. And I don't even like black licorice, but that little bit of anise with the other flavors make it really robust.
You put the lemon, because I smell lemon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can smell the lemon in
I
there.
use a lot of citrus.
The citrus seems to really brighten up the flavors.
Yeah, I have an assembly line in my house with my kids. Who's the grater, who's the juicer, and then we just package it up for when we need it. It's a process to make this kind of food, because it's all fresh ingredients.
Well, I found something, and maybe you already know this, but I did not know you could freeze lemons, and you could grate them, and you can have fresh lemon
I did not even know
day
that.
of the week. Take a bag of lemons, throw them in your freezer, take it out. You can,
No kidding.
I just found that out. Yeah.
Wow.
See, now we're sharing something.
Yeah, that's wonderful, because even Rachel Ray has said on her show, because I watch her religiously, that there should be something where you can go to the market, because you could buy fresh parsley and basil and all these things chopped up in these little containers, but you can't find lemon or orange zest.
Well, you can Google it, because you can freeze lemons and you can grate them, and they're just like...
Jeez, that's good to know.
Yeah. Now, the one thing you said is that you won a prize for your regatta.
Okay, yep. So now we'll go over to this. I brought it like this. Because,
Well, that's the way we serve it at home.
Right. And we serve it in little pieces, and a lot of times during the Easter holiday or the weekend,
Yeah.
you know, because sometimes family's so big you can't see everybody in one
Exactly.
day. We bring little pieces of pie.
Yeah.
And everybody shares at the
Well,
pies.
when we say
and-
pie, we have to clarify
Right,
that, because
right.
when the Italians talk about like a ricotta pie,
Mm-hmm.
or they call it the pizza game, those are not like a pie, like a pumpkin pie.
No.
Those are usually made in a spring form pan, usually.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you do, but we make them in a spring form. And they're a little thicker.
Yes.
So that you can cut them like this.
Right,
Yeah.
right, and more dense so you can pass it around.
Yeah.
So yes, this ricotta pie I made for a local competition at the Boys and Girls Club. They used to have it called the Taste of the Capital Region.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, and I made this one time, and the judges went crazy over it. They just loved the kick of flavor. I make a lot of my food very robust, so if it calls for like 1 teaspoon, I'm using way more than that.
Yeah.
And it's just how I cook.
Yeah.
And then I always add stuff to the top, as you could see. I put the lemon and the orange zest. I use both.
Yeah.
Traditionally, you know, you use lemon for one, orange for the other, but I just throw it all in there. It just makes it much more better.
Well, and you know, as Italian cooks, you cook with what you have, you know, a lot of
Not
times.
only what you have, but what you feel.
Yeah.
And I just like to be colorful and fun, and I make my food that way.
Yeah.
A lot of times my food has not just one kind of pepper, but it'll have 4 color peppers.
Okay.
Just because I like color.
Yeah.
And
Color's
then-
important.
Yeah, I feel it's
Well, you
attractive.
eat with your eyes
Exactly, exactly.
first. Like I'm eating all of this right now, and I probably just put on 40 pounds just looking at this.
Well, this cookie, I really have to attribute how I became the name Pasta Mama, because I was at a backyard party, I would say 10, 11 years ago.
Keep talking. I'm going to grab one.
Oh, I would love to see your reaction as you bite into
I
it.
can't stand this. Go ahead.
Okay, so I was talking to somebody, and that's the reaction.
These are my mothers.
Oh my gosh, and that is my
These
favorite.
are my mothers.
That is my favorite compliment people say, is when they take a bite of something and they'll right off the rip, this reminds me of my grandmother, this reminds me of my mom or my aunt, and that is literally my favorite compliment.
And your
Or
density on this is perfect.
each one
This
is
is
done
perfect.
by hand. Thank you very much. I don't just
And
scoop-
you're getting this from an Italian, you know that.
Right. Yes, and believe me, I have stars going in my head as every time you're complimenting me, because
Yeah.
you being Italian and
Yeah.
knowing what this food means, because there's a
I
lot
can't
of,
wait to try your bread. See
Oh,
if that
yeah.
hits the mark there.
Yeah.
And I know your Lagoth and your pizza gain. In the pizza gain, you put the ham and the dried sausage. or do
Actually,
you-
I use prosciutto in mine.
Oh, you prosciutto?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. This actually, I was on the Let's Eat Kitchen, and I remember the news people were, when they took a bite of it, they were just, wow, this has a lot of flavor. So that's the reaction I like when people bite into the
Okay.
food. But back to the cookies. So the backyard party, met somebody, and this person just loved the flavor of the cookie and asked what I was doing. I'm like, well, I just became a stay-home mom, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to start doing stuff, you know.
I may quit making them and just call you. I mean, I can't beat
A
these.
lot of
These
people do
These
that.
are my mom's.
I have people say that it's not a holiday unless we have your cookies.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, that's another one of my favorite compliments, because it's like from my table to yours.
Yeah.
And so he invited me to he owned a hotel, which I didn't even know that. And he owns a radio station, and I didn't know that either. But one thing led to another. I was starting to do my stuff in their big kitchen, which everybody said, you're not trained to work in a big kitchen like that. And I said, I don't know. I know I could do it. I'm not worried. I became friends with the chef, which we're still great friends to this day. And he just could not believe when I went back there, and I just knew what I was doing. It was like, as they
It was
say,
intuitive. It was intuitive.
Yes, they
Yeah.
say those ancestors that play in your head, you
Right.
know, and you just know how to.
We got the genes. I mean, they're in our blood.
And I don't
yeah.
try to be anything except I just do what I do. Some people may like it, and
No,
if
you are spot on. And
Yeah.
I've had a lot of people that make this and then show it, and it's like, no, it's not quite right. But this, I took a bite of that. That was my mother's,
oh,
and that's
that
the way
really
we
means
make
a lot
them.
to
So
me.
I
Thank
mean,
you.
I make them that way too. But
Yeah, and so he had it on his radio station that he was advertising for an event that I was doing at his hotel, and it said, we have our very own Pasta Mama, you know, come see her, because a lot
And
of
that's
times.
how you got your name?
And that's how I got the name, and then it just stuck. So before you know it, people are calling me Pasta Mama, and it just became a thing. And that's how a lot of what I do now unfolded, is that everything just became a thing.
And I think during the show we've been showing some of the photos of the foods that you have prepared. You're an amazing cook, and I know you do the pasta as well. So we got to talk about
that's a whole nother.
Yeah,
the whole
another
homemade
time,
cavadillos
another
is
show,
another show, and
We'll
I will
do-
bring everybody homemade cavadillos because. Again,
I make
assembly
cavadillo.
line in my family.
Yeah.
We do the whole
I
thing
make
with my
the
kids.
you just go bam, bam, bam.
Yeah, I bring my
You
kids
make the
into
gnocchi,
it.
too.
Yes,
Yeah, I saw
yes.
that, yeah.
And the gnocchi, we still call cavadillo because we have different boards. A lot of times we just flick them by hand.
Yeah, I do the hand.
Back in the
Yeah,
day
yeah.
with the ants and they're doing all their different
Yeah, yeah.
fingers. Well, now come into play is the boards. So the boards are fun for the kids because they make different shapes and
Yeah,
designs.
exactly. And I have that too. So, but listen, I wish we had more time, but thank you so much for being here. And we're going to have you on again talking about pasta.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah, great.
Thank you
great.
so much
Thank
for
you.
having me.
Yeah, and we'll be in touch.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This is my mother's cooking, believe me.